Alright, que paso amigos, welcome to the channel, John's Moto Garage. Today is an exciting day. We're doing the first ever Q&A for John's Moto Garage, never before been done. Shout out to my sponsors. This one is sponsored by Brandon Browning. He's one of the OG subscribers. He recommended we do the Q&A. He's been here since before 100. So gracias Brandon for the idea. So first of all, everybody close your eyes. Bam, there you have it. Your guess was as good as mine. We're going to start out on the FZ09. Let's get this Q&A underway real quick. First of all right, first one is Michele Falmuina. I apologize, I know I butchered your name. I'm so jealous. I haven't ridden my Bolt since mid-October. I feel you, man. I feel you. We've been hitting negative temps all week here in Alaska and have probably another 3 to 4 months till riding season. That's a drag. So I'd like to throw in a couple cues. What's your riding experience and what was your first moto? Let's jump into it. All right, shout out to our amigo up in Alaska. I apologize that I did not pronounce your name correctly. And that's the dope thing about the channel. You get to interact with people, nation, and even globally on a national and global level. Dang it, I already forgot the question. We'll start with my first bike. So I started out on a 2000 or 2003 Honda Shadow VLX 600. I won't date myself, you guys, but it was right after high school. I had a buddy who rode around on a dual sport. It was actually a DRZ 400 S. So it's kind of like I've come full circle. Anyway, he mobbed around on his dual sport and he was always trying to convince me to get a motorcycle. Finally, I jumped on the dual sport, learned how to ride, was instantly in love, and I started looking. Now at the time I was all into choppers and things like that, and for some reason I thought the Shadow VLX 600 would be a good one, which Shadows are great starter bikes. And so that was my first ever motorcycle, and that's kind of how I got into riding as well. I went out, paid cash for it, my buddy rode it home, and then the next day or so I practiced riding around the neighborhood. I went and got my license, and the rest is history. And that bike, the Shadow 600, 4-speed, chain drive, perfect beginner bike, but that thing was gutless. I made it almost all the way up to Yellowstone, and we stopped just short of Yellowstone, and I was like, dude, I can't do it anymore. This thing just cannot handle it. And we turned all the way back. All right, I think I got the question wrong. What was it? What's your riding experience and what was your first moto? Okay, riding experience and first moto. So I covered the first moto. It was the Shadow VLX 600. Great starter bike. What's up, you guys? And as far as riding experience goes, I don't have any like formal professional riding experience. I never raced motocross, I never raced sport bikes, nothing like that. I haven't done any safety riding courses, which I would recommend doing that stuff because like many, I've learned the hard way on a lot of stuff. As of late though, I've started getting more into riding. For a long time there I was doing buying and selling, but I didn't really ride a whole lot. Now I'm getting more into the riding aspect of it. I've mentioned Moto Jitsu on my channel many times before. He really drills the importance of practice and taking safety courses. At some point I do plan on taking safety courses. I think it'd be a great idea, but there's tons of resources online, tons of videos. Utilize those to become a better rider. I'm trying to do that, and I recommend to all you guys out there as well. You know, whether you got 30 years under your belt or 30 days, there's always room for improvement, that's for sure. All right, let's see if we can get a few good wheelies sent out to Alaska. So much traffic. Let's see if we can catch this plane landing up here. All right, hold on a second. I gotta pull over, see what our next question is. Gamer37, thank you Gamer37 for leaving a comment. When did you begin riding motorcycles? What made you like the Honda Grom? What mic and camera do you use? All right, so when did I start? What made me like the Grom? And mic and camera setup. So the mic and camera setup, I use a GoPro Hero 4 and I got a lapel mic. I'll leave a link below to the specific one I have. I'm not an affiliate or anything right now, but check it out. I made the mistake of buying the GoPro connection piece that cost like 60 bucks the first round through. Thing was not working well, and I ended up finding a $15 complete lapel mic set that includes that conversion piece with it. So at some point I may just do my vlog setup, because I've actually been getting a lot of questions about what I use, and it's nothing special. But yeah, it's good to know. I was looking up the same videos when I was starting. And what made me like the Honda Grom, once they came out, like I saw it and I thought, dude, that's a dope looking motorcycle. Just looked like a ton of fun. But what really convinced me to end up buying it was I wanted to learn wheelies, and it seemed like the safest, most practical way to learn a wheelie. And for all the reasons I've mentioned before, you know, it's lightweight, you have to learn the proper technique. It's not easy to wheelie if you don't know the technique, but once you learn the technique and the method on the Grom, it's easy to transition onto other motorcycles. And this is proof in the pudding on this FZ09 rather, because I had one of these before buying the Grom, and my wheelies were out of control and horrible. And then once I got the Grom and learned the proper technique, it was a whole nother story. I mean, I'm still a newbie, of course, but anyway, I think you get the point. Sorry, I could probably spend all day out here just screwing around with wheelies. This thing is so fun to do wheelies on. But yeah, there you have it, Gamer37. And gracias for leaving the question. Bam! That's right, I bet you guys didn't see that curveball coming. We are on a different motorcycle. Next question is Targisius. Do you prefer shaft drive, belt drive, or chain? Great question. And honestly, I'll mob any bike regardless of what it has. Personal preference, I think right out of the gate is going to be belt drive. The thing is, you can read all the pros and cons of everything, and it's all kind of a toss-up, but something about belt drive seems to be low maintenance, they last a long time. However, when it comes to your sport bikes, performance bikes, chain's where it's at, because those are the ones that can handle it. Stay tuned, because I got a new bike coming up very soon, and this will come into play, this very same question. You just have to stay tuned. It's a new bike, but on that bike we'll talk a little bit about belt to chain conversion. Why would you do it? Why wouldn't you do it? All that good stuff. But great question, Targisius. Typically I dig the belt drive. To the astute observer, you may remember a bike not too long ago that had gnarly ape hangers that I didn't end up buying. This is not the same one. To see what bike this is, wait for my next video to drop. It's the most recent addition to the Moto garage. All right, let's see what our next question is. I've only answered like 2 questions. Super Fury Man, what is the top 3 things not obvious that would make you walk away from a used bike? Super Fury Man. All right, let's jump into it. Top 3 things that would make me walk away from a used bike, not the obvious. So we know the obvious, you know, doesn't start, doesn't run, salvage title, big dent in the tank, that kind of thing. Those are the obvious ones. Major mechanical issues, leaking, that kind of thing. I know what you mean. So this one I'll have to think about. What are some of the reasons why I've walked away from bikes? And real quick, before I answer this, Super Fury Man, shout out. He's got a pretty cool channel himself, and he's an Arizona local here. And I won't spoil it, but on one of his Fury videos, he may or may not have had a gnarly crash, but you'll have to check out his channel to see. All right, Super Fury Man, back to the question. When I first started buying bikes, all I had in mind was, how much can I make off the bike? Now, when I look at it, I have more in mind, is it worth my reputation? Do I want to be selling a piece of junk or something that I don't deem as roadworthy, or that I personally wouldn't jump on and ride myself? And so I pass up on a lot of bikes that are technically good deals, and I could turn around and sell the next day for quick $500, $600, $700. I'll pass up on them if it's not something I personally would feel comfortable riding, or it's something I would not want to deal with myself. So a lot of the things that I see are going to be oil leaking around the rocker covers, and I'm not talking about oil gushing out of the bottom of the bike, but you see the oil seeping. You can tell it's there on close inspection. Most, you know, unknowing, unsuspected buyers may not even do that inspection. They might not even look at it, but I do, and I notice it. I'll walk away from that stuff. An example, recently there's a Harley Sportster. It was a 2012, 10, 11, 12,000 miles or so. The dude had it listed dirt cheap. I checked it out and it had a leak. He was gonna let me have it for $2,500. That's super cheap. I could have sold it easily next day for 3,000 plus. even as is with that leak. And somebody actually did end up buying the bike and flipping it, and they probably made around $3,000, or you know, 500, 600, 700 bucks on it. But to me, I pass on it, because for me, oil leaking that I notice is a no-go. That's a deal breaker for me. It's just not worth it.